Hi, I'm Tina LeBaron, and I'm going to start on our first project, how you would do a mini horror movie. My assistant is with me right now, Avery LeBaron, who was one of our main actresses as well. So if you hear any comments, she's here to help provide a student perspective. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're starting a new project is make a folder for it. I made it horror movie project, and then from there, I made a folder for footage. I've copied all of my footage, everything I filmed for my project, into this folder. And all my footage here meets the requirements of the project that we're making a horror movie. It can have a subgenre, and ours is a horror comedy, partly because of the age group. We want it to appeal to younger audiences. You can choose thriller or suspense or something. It just needs to have a 3-act structure, a beginning, a middle, and end, and a twist somewhere in the project. We can go ahead and open Premiere, either by searching the words Premiere or going to our Start menu and finding this PR logo. That actually meets part of my technology standards, not yours. I picked the software for you. That makes me the designer of the lesson, I know, but don't worry. You will be making the decisions on how this film looks, what you want critiqued, and what it will look like. So in the end, I'll be acting as more a facilitator for your project. Premiere is part of the Adobe Creative Suite, and it's really the standard package for art, graphic design, such like that. It's used at a lot of colleges and gaining popularity every time I talk to them. One of the disadvantages is going to be that this isn't free, so if you don't have the money and don't want to do a free trial, you can also use something called Davinci Resolve. So whether you're in that program or this one, you can start with New Project. We're going to navigate to that folder we created, horror movie, and I'm going to select this folder. This is where it will save our cache, our edits, our exports. We're going to leave it in time code, and we're not doing any capture, so it doesn't matter, but if you were capturing from a camera, more than likely you're now actually filming HDV. Let me go ahead and call this, Avery, what's this movie called?
The Good Witch and the Giant Evil Monster of the Mystery.
Good. We do, okay. Good Witch, Dragon of Mystery?
Yep.
All right, Good Witch and the Dragon of Mystery. Okay. So when you begin this project, you're going to see a couple different windows, and we have a lot of design options. If we go into the technology standards, this meets a lot of them. For one, standard 1 is Empowered Learner, which students get to articulate and set personal goals, develop strategies, and achieve them, and reflect on the learning process. It's going to meet digital citizenship, which we're going to go into a little later, of what you can use and what you can't use. And it's also going to meet the standard Innovative Designer, because, as said, this is a design process. So you have 2 ways you can start to import. You can go Import here, or you can right-click and go Import Horror Movie Footage. And the nice thing is I can either drag select all of it, or I can click the first file, hold Shift, scroll down, click the last one, and it will select everything. So from here, I know that we actually shot this movie pretty well in order, so we double click and our footage will show up in the source window. It's not in the timeline, so we can drag a clip to make a timeline and it will automatically set it. And this is a little better if you want to make sure you're using standard encoding. We go to New, Sequence, and from here, I know I shot this on a digital SLR, so I'm selecting digital SLR, 1080p, which is just the resolution, and then we're in America, so our footage is going to be 30 frames a second, unless we rendered it in film quality, but we didn't, we used a video camera. So it's 30 frames a second. It's actually 29.97, but we do round up. So we select that option and hit OK. So from here, I can now view this clip. And if I want to do what's my establishing shot,
Well, play.
and from there, maybe we cut, and we can just physically drag this down if we want the audio and the video. If we want just the video, we can select this button and drag it down. If we want just the audio, we can select this and drag it down. I can also make sure the clips are unlinked by doing it that way so that they don't select together. Or if I drag them and I decided I wanted to take out the sound or move it separately, I can always right click on an object in the middle of an object and select unlink, and that will let us operate them separately as well. If I decided that I wanted my clips linked, I can do the opposite. I can right click and go to link.
Now, let's look what that looks like.
And we'll just see all the footage in our timeline in the program window. I think I like this shot better, so we'll just do 2. 1, 2. Now, if we decided that we wanted this to look a little creepier, we could slow it down by right-clicking and going to speed duration, and maybe slowing this down to 70%. Over 100% goes faster, and under that goes slower. I'll also do some mute effects to the sound. So I think that might be a little too slow.
No, Mom, so that's awesome.
You liked it? Can we try 80? So I'm going to try 80. It will remember whatever you did, so you can always go through and adjust it a couple times. There we go. I like that. So if the clips are not exposed, right here, we can look in our effects. So I can tell that this clip ended up really dark. The sun was setting as we were filming this, and my light changed a lot. So I can go to video effects, and I can go to color correction. And here I have a brightness and contrast. Once I find that, I can drag it on a clip and double click on it. From there, I go to effects controls, and I can change these options. So if you scroll down, here's my brightness and contrast, and I can increase the brightness a little and the contrast. Now, if I have a clip that's too badly damaged, I may have to just kind of forego that. Or sometimes another option you can do is if you know you want something, like if I was like, maybe I want a black and white. I can find black and white here, and I can drag that on. And maybe I go through and I color correct this so that when I have these color values, I've now made my entire movie black and white instead. And now we can go ahead and play it from the beginning. We can hit this, which will go back all the way to the beginning, and then hit. If I wanted to put music to this, I can also search for something called royalty-free music. And what I'll get is a number of websites that are going to have music I can use, usually as long as I credit it. Bensound is usually a legitimately free one. Some of them will say they're free, but they're not. And Incomtech, I know, is one that's always free. He just asks that you credit it at the end as long as you're not making money on it. So if I wanted to go to royalty-free music, I could click here, and he has a number of his songs. He can also click on feels. So let's say I wanted mysterious, because you said this is a mysterious dragon, Avery. These are all the songs they say that'll be mysterious, and you can listen to it. That might not be the mysterious we're going for.
That will probably work.
Yeah. And as you see, this can become a task all on its own.
Do that. That is awesome music right there.
So I click download MP3 once again. I want to save whatever I'm using in this project to my tutorial site. And then to get that in, I just import it the same way I would my clips. And to get that in, I just import it the same way I import my clips. So I can go right-click import for that other one. And then if I step out of this folder, I'll see it right here. And to get that sound in, it's actually pretty easy. We just drag it from here to here. And since I don't know how long exactly I need, doing it in this window is a little more difficult. I also find, okay, I can say it's about 32 something, but I find it's much easier just to drag it to the timeline, use the razor blade tool, cut it, and then use the selection tool to delete everything afterwards. If I want it to fade out, I can go back to my search area. I can go to audio transitions, crossfade. Constant gain is going to keep the pitch. Constant power is going to do that force, and an exponential fade will make it seem like it's slowly tipping out. So I can drag whichever one I want to the end. And now, when I play it, so you'll have to come back to the page to see the final result once I edit it with my daughter. But when we want to export, we can go to File, Export, Media. I want to make sure that my format is H.264, that my preset matches my source, and then I can pick the name. And then when I get to my horror movie project, on this project, you're going to be turning in a rough cut first and then a final. So I could call this LeBaron rough cut, get everyone's opinion, maybe if I should keep it black and white, if I should keep those darker scenes.
So
and from the very bottom of this, you'll see a Q and an export. You want to hit export, and it will save your movie for you. At the end of this, you can go to your folder. You'll see it in there, and you'll have a film that you can watch.